Number 10. 2025 Subaru Forester. If you want simple, honest practicality with all-weather confidence, the redesigned Forester should be on your short list. The formula stays familiar. Excellent outward visibility, an airy cabin, and cargo space that's easy to use, while the body and interior get cleaner and more modern. Subaru leans into its strengths: standard all-wheel drive, a chassis tuned for rough roads and snow days, and driver assist coverage that's broad without being fussy. Inside, the new infotainment stack is faster and clearer, and the cabin materials step up just enough to feel adult. Compared with a Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, the Forester still feels the most utility first. Big door openings, square cargo, roof rails that invite you to actually carry stuff. Who it's for? Mountain town commuters, families with dogs and gear, and anyone who values visibility and confidence over flash. Where it wins: winter traction, ease of use, and long-haul comfort on broken pavement. Confirmed versus expected. The US lineup is rolling out now, with incremental year-over-year updates. A hybrid variant has been heavily rumored for the following model year, but until Subaru says it, treat that as a wait and see. The verdict: if you want an SUV that feels smaller to drive than it looks, is easy to load, and keeps stress low in bad weather, the new Forester quietly delivers. Number 9. 2025. Ford Explorer Ford's 3-row stalwart gets a significant interior and tech overhaul that addresses the exact pain points buyers flagged. A cleaner dash, bigger screen real estate that doesn't bury basic controls, and a calmer, more premium cabin vibe. The seats are improved for longer stints. Second-row comfort is genuinely adult-worthy, and the overall noise suppression feels a step up. Ford also leans into connected features: navigation that remembers your routes, better voice controls, and available hands-free driver assistance on marked highways where regulations allow. On the outside, the styling tweaks are subtle but sharpened. A more confident front fascia and lighting signatures that look upscale without shouting. Who it's for? Busy households that want an American brand 3-row with tech that feels current and space that works. Where it wins: towing ratings that meet real weekend needs, confident highway manners, and a package that hits value trims effectively. Confirmed versus expected. The refresh and interior upgrades are real and shipping. Powertrains remain familiar for reliability and cost predictability. If you were holding off because the old interior felt dated, the 2025 model fixes the vibe. The verdict: not a reinvention, but a well-aimed reset that makes the Explorer easier to recommend in a crowded segment. Number 8. 2025 BMW X3 BMW's all-new X3 lands exactly where premium buyers are shopping. A compact luxury SUV that feels grown up without going soft. The new platform brings a quieter cabin, cleaner aerodynamics, and the kind of body control that makes long drives feel shorter. Steering is light but precise. Ride quality filters out the small stuff, and the powertrains, from efficient 4-cylinder to a punchier performance variant, cover the spread without excess drama. Inside, the cockpit takes a big leap. Slimmer displays that still read clearly in sunlight. Materials that feel like money without shouting about it. And useful software that integrates your phone life without becoming your entire life. Cargo is generous for the class, and the rear seat is adult tolerant for real trips, not just ride shares. Who it's for? Drivers who want a premium badge that still prioritizes dynamics and day-to-day refinement over sheer size. Where it wins: cabin polish, handling composure, and the feels expensive quotient you notice every morning. Confirmed versus expected. The new generation is on sale with the latest infotainment and driver assist suite. Power and efficiency numbers vary by trim and wheel choice, so cross-check the exact spec you're considering. The verdict: if you're stepping up from a mainstream compact SUV to something premium, the new X3 is the safe bet that still feels special behind the wheel. Number 7. 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV. The Equinox EV is the most important make EVs normal move GM has made yet. It looks like an everyday compact SUV, feels familiar the first time you sit in it, and, crucially, aims to hit a price and range combo that doesn't scare off mainstream buyers. Built on GM's Ultium platform, the Equinox EV offers front drive or available EAWD, with the sweet spot trims delivering an EPA estimated range in the 300-mile class when configured for efficiency. DC fast charging capability targets the add meaningful miles over a coffee window, and at home a 240 level 2 setup turns every night into a full tank. Inside, Google built-in keeps Maps, Assistant, and the app ecosystem responsive, and the interface finally feels unified rather than a bundle of menus from different eras. Higher trims add Super Cruise on compatible divided highways. Hands-free cruising that's genuinely helpful on long slogs when used as intended. Who it's for? Shoppers who want a compact EV SUV that behaves like a familiar family crossover, with no exotic quirks and a learning curve that stays mild. Where it wins? Value per mile, a cabin that uses its space well, and a tech stack that feels coherent. The cargo bay is wide and square. The rear seat is adult honest, and outward visibility is better than a lot of fashion-first designs. Early trims and EPA ranges are public, with FWD models posting the best numbers and EAWD sacrificing a bit for traction. DC fast charge rates, trim-by-trim equipment, and federal state incentive eligibility can change based on sourcing rules, so always check current guidance before you do the math. The verdict: if you've been waiting for an EV that feels like a normal compact SUV first, the Equinox EV is the right kind of boring, in the best possible way. Number 6. Mazda CX-70. Mazda built the CX-70 for the customer who says, "I want something that drives well and looks expensive, but I don't need 3 rows." It shares its premium, rear drive-based architecture with the CX-90, then repackages the formula as a wider stance. 2-row with more active lifestyle room behind row 2. Under the hood, you get a choice of Mazda's smooth inline-6 with 48-volt assistance, or a plug-in hybrid that blends a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder with a usable battery for genuine around-town electric miles. Both pair with Mazda's in-house 8-speed automatic and standard iActive all-wheel drive, giving the CX-70 a grown-up Grand Tourer vibe you don't normally find at this price. On the road, body control is taut without being harsh. Steering has real on-center feel, and the cabin stays calm over broken pavement. Traits that make long drives feel shorter. Inside, Mazda leans hard into craftsmanship. The materials and stitching patterns look a class up. The driving position is excellent, and the screens are integrated so they don't feel like afterthought tablets. Compared with a Honda Passport, the CX-70 feels more refined and more driver-centric. Compared with a BMW X3, it undercuts on price while delivering a surprisingly premium experience inside. Who it's for? Couples or small families who want a luxury-leaning 2-row that still makes sense for road trips. Home projects and weekend escapes. Where it wins? Chassis polish, cabin quality, and the special without shouting factor. Confirmed versus expected. Trims and powertrains are announced. EPA ratings vary by wheel tire and battery calibration, so verify the exact spec you're eyeing. The verdict: if you secretly want a premium badge, but your spreadsheet says mainstream, the CX-70 is the stealth choice that will make you smile every time an on-ramp appears. Number 5. Jeep Wagoneer S. Jeep's first modern, North America-focused EV is not a science experiment, it's a statement. The Wagoneer S pairs a slippery, upscale shape with a dual-motor AWD setup targeting roughly 600 horsepower and a 0-60 time in the mid-3s, according to Jeep's own early figures. Translation: it's quick enough to reset your expectations of what a family SUV can do, while delivering the quiet glide and instant torque that make EVs feel effortless around town. Range targets are positioned in the 300-mile class depending on wheel, tire, and trim, and DC fast charging aims squarely at the coffee to 80% window buyers now expect. Inside, the vibe is modern premium Jeep. Layered screens, real materials, and a seating position that feels commanding rather than couch-like. Storage is intelligently carved out, and the rear cargo area carries a square-shouldered, practical shape. Capability still matters with a Jeep badge. Expect select terrain-style drive modes that tune traction and throttle for weather and light trails, along with a smart traction logic that meters power with EV finesse. Don't expect a rock-crawling Wrangler in disguise, that's not the brief, but do expect confidence on dirt, snow, and messy transition surfaces where some EVs feel flustered. Compared with a BMW iX, it feels more approachable and less polarizing in design, with a likely friendlier price ladder. Who it's for? Early adopters who want a quick, quiet, premium family EV with a recognizable American badge and a dose of seasonal weather confidence. Where it wins: power, presence, and an interior that feels expensive without the shock. Confirmed versus expected. Jeep has disclosed headline performance and positioning. Final EPA range: charging curves, and trim pricing will settle as deliveries ramp. The verdict: the Wagoneer S is the clearest signal yet that Jeep intends to make EVs you actually want to daily, not just admire on a show stand. We've covered a mainstream EV that finally makes sense for ordinary buyers, a driver-focused two-row with luxury manners, and an electric Jeep that sprints like a sports car. Next up, the Icons, body-on-frame SUVs reborn, from luxury overlanders to the most anticipated off-roader of the decade. Ready for the heavy hitters? Number 4. 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. If you've ever wished a family SUV felt purpose-built for real life, easy entry for kids, a cargo area that behaves like a tiny patio, and a cabin that's calm instead of gimmicky, the new Santa Fe is the one to watch. Hyundai flipped the design brief, big, boxy, and brilliantly practical. The long square roofline and near vertical tailgate create an enormous opening. The terrace-style rear hatch and low-load floor make it feel like you're packing a tiny camper. Up front, H's signature lighting and a clean, upright grille give Range Rover light vibes without Range Rover bills. Inside, dual screens are wide and bright, but Hyundai keeps the sanity. Physical toggles for core climate audio, a proper volume knob, and 2 wireless chargers, so phones don't end up fighting over the cable. Powertrains cover familiar bases. A refined 2.5-liter turbo for folks who prioritize highway passing and towing confidence, and a hybrid that leans into smooth launches and quieter city running. The hybrid's low-speed serenity is the star. It slips through school zones and parking lots on electric assist, then blends engine power without the droning you remember from older systems. All-wheel drive is available for snowbelt peace of mind, and the ride tuning aims for calm first, control second, the exact combination you appreciate on bad pavement. On the inside, the second row is adult-friendly with wide opening doors, and the third row, where fitted, is best for kids, but folds flat to leave a vast, square cargo bay. Cabin materials feel a class up in higher trims, knurled hardware, clean stitching, and colors that read warm rather than rental. Who it's for: families who want a stylish box that prioritizes function. Strollers. Pets, soccer gear, without feeling utilitarian. Where it wins: cargo usability, easy ingress-egress, and a control layout that respects your time. Compared with a Toyota Highlander, the Santa Fe feels airier and more cleverly packaged. Compared with a Honda Pilot, it's the design-forward, 2-row leaning alternative that still handles a big Costco run. Confirmed versus expected, US models offer turbo and hybrid power with available AWD. Exact EPA figures vary by wheels, trim. A plug-in variant has circulated globally, but US availability remains to be confirmed. Treat PHEV talk as speculative until Hyundai publishes details. Verdict: the Santa Fe is the rare redesign that looks dramatic and gets dramatically more useful at the same time. Number 3. 2025 Toyota 4Runner. The legend is back on Toyota's TNGA-F body-on-frame platform, and the 6th Gen 4Runner is exactly what fans hoped. Tougher, more tech-literate, and finally modern under the skin, without losing the go-anywhere, last-forever vibe. Under the hood, base models move to a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4 backed by an 8-speed automatic, and the available iForce Max hybrid ups the ante with a serious torque bump. Toyota's own figures target the 300-plus horsepower neighborhood and big truck-like torque, mirroring the Tacoma's 326 HP 465 LBFT. Translation: stronger, low RPM pull for crawling and towing, and smoother, quieter commuting when you're not playing in the dirt. Hardware is the point. Expect part-time 4WD on many trims, with a proper low range, locking rear differential availability, and Toyota's latest traction brains: multi-terrain select, crawl control, and downhill assist logic that's calmer and less herky-jerky than earlier iterations. TRD Off-Road, TRD Pro, and the new Trail Hunter spec stretch from weekend trail confidence to expedition ready, with the top trims adding off-road suspension, serious underbody protection, all-terrain rubber, and integrated accessory support that keeps you from reinventing the wheel in the aftermarket. Visibility stays old-school good. A tall seating position, square hood edges, and camera views that make rock placement easier. Inside, the cabin finally joins 2025. Big center screen, up to the tablet-like 14-inch class on higher trims, a 12-inch plus digital cluster, wireless CarPlay Android Auto, and lots of rubberized, glove-friendly switchgear. Yes, the power rear glass lives on, because Toyota knows its audience. Confirmed versus expected. Platform, powertrains, and the off-road tech suite are public. Exact EPA economy, towing by trim, and some Trailhunter Thomas TRD component specs vary by package and wheel, not tire. Early allocations will be tight. Expect dealer markups on Halo trims until supply normalizes. The verdict: if you've been nursing an old 4Runner waiting for the right time, this is the moment. Order it for who you are on weekends. It'll still commute without beating you up Monday through Friday. From a family-first box that behaves like a tiny patio to an old-school frame truck reborn with hybrid torque, we're down to the top two. One is the 3-row EV that finally feels road trip ready. The other is a luxury icon returning to its roots with modern efficiency. They anchor opposite ends of the SUV spectrum, and they're both worth the wait. Number 2. 2025 Kia EV9. You've been waiting for a true family-size electric SUV that doesn't feel like a concept car or a science project. The EV9 is the green light. Built on Hyundai Kia's 800-volt eGMP platform, it charges fast, rides calm, and packages space like a proper 3-row. Range depends on trim and wheels, but the sweet spots hit up to the 300-mile EPA neighborhood on long-range rear-drive models, while dual-motor all-wheel drive trims land a bit lower in exchange for all-weather grip and stronger acceleration. On the road, the EV9 feels planted and quiet. Long wheelbase, low center of gravity, and smart damping give it that glide EVs promise, but don't always deliver. And cabin isolation is strong even on coarse asphalt. The steering is light and consistent, and throttle calibration avoids the herky-jerky response that can make some EVs tiresome in traffic. With EAWD, launch punch is plentiful for merges and passing. Yet the demeanor stays more big grand tour than drag race. Towing is properly engineered, up to the 5,000-pound class when equipped. Enough for a pair of jet skis or a small camper. With software that manages region and stability when you're on a grade. Packaging is where the EV9 earns fans. Choose 6 or 7 seats. Second-row captain's chairs can recline for road trip naps. And the boxy roofline keeps the third row usable rather than symbolic. The cargo bay is square, the load floor is sensible, and the frunk is handy for cords or a small bag. Kia's interface is one of the cleaner EV setups. A wide display, a second screen that doesn't overwhelm, and, crucially, enough physical keys to handle climate and audio without a hunt through submenus. Who it's for? Families who want to do real distance in an EV without micromanaging stops. Buyers who prefer a calm ride and a conventional cabin over hyperminimalism, and anyone who needs a third row a few times a month instead of once a year. Where it wins: fast charge confidence, adult honest space, thoughtful controls, and the feels expensive quiet that usually costs more. Compared with a Tesla Model Y, the EV9 is larger, more comfortable in row 2 and 3, and has a gentler learning curve. Compared with a Volvo X90, it feels less formal and more approachable on price. Compared with a Rivian R1S, it trades adventure theatrics for family pragmatism and value. Confirmed versus expected. Trims, battery sizes, EPA ranges, and charging hardware are published, though exact numbers vary by wheels, tires, and climate. US federal incentive eligibility can shift with domestic production and battery sourcing rules. Many buyers have accessed the $7,500 through leasing, even when purchase credits were limited. Check current policy before you sign. The verdict: the EV9 is the first broadly available 3-row EV that behaves like a road trip SUV first and an EV second. If you've been EV curious but family needs kept you in Gasland, this is the bridge. Number 1. Toyota Land Cruiser 250. The Land Cruiser's return to North America is more than nostalgia. It's a strategic reset that brings the badge back to its roots. Honest size, serious hardware, and durability front and center, now with hybrid torque and a friendlier price. Riding on Toyota's TNGA-F body-on-frame architecture, the new LC250 borrows the iForce Max hybrid from the Tacoma. A 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-paired with an electric motor, and an 8-speed automatic for a combined 326 HP and 465 lb-ft. That torque figure matters. It's what gets you moving in deep sand, climbs ledges at a crawl, and keeps highway passing relaxed with a roof box and a loaded cargo bay. Full-time 4-wheel drive with a center diff, a 2-speed transfer case, and available locking rear differential are the core. Inside, it's function first, then comfort. Big, grippy knobs and switches you can work with gloves. Rubberized, easy clean surfaces where you scuff. And a center screen, up to the 12-inch class, that finally brings Toyota's modern interface to the nameplate without turning it into a tablet on wheels. Wireless CarPlay Android Auto are standard on most trims, the digital cluster communicates clearly, and Toyota SafetySense 3.0 adds the latest camera radar brains for calmer commuting between adventures. Seating is 2-row in North America, with a generous room for 5 and a cargo hold that's square enough to swallow camping bins. Recovery gear, and a week's groceries without Tetris. Who it's for? Long-term owners who want one rig for a decade, buyers who'd spec a 4Runner to the moon, but want more torquey and a richer baseline, and enthusiasts who do real trails, but also value a sealed, quiet cabin on the long highway back. Where it wins, modern torque and efficiency without losing the hard-wearing character. Hardware that's adventure-ready out of the box. And a price ladder that starts within reach of well-equipped mid-size SUVs, rather than 6-figure Luxo trucks. Compared with a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, the Land Cruiser trades open-air theatrics for long-haul refinement. Compared with a Land Rover Defender 110, it emphasizes reliability and easy ownership over theater and bespoke options. Against Toyota's own 4Runner, the LC250 sits up market with hybrid torque and a more premium baseline, while the 4Runner offers broader trim diversity and a lower starting price. Confirmed versus expected. Platform. Powertrain output, drivetrain layout, and core off-road tech are official. Exact EPA economy, curb weights by trim, towing per configuration, and accessory catalogs vary and will expand rapidly after launch. Early first edition allocations are limited, and dealer premiums are real. If you want a specific color spec, patience saves money. The verdict. Toyota has returned the Land Cruiser to the role that made it famous. Tough, right-sized, and engineered to outlast trends. The hybrid torque is the modern twist that makes it better. Everywhere you actually drive, that's the full countdown. From compact workhorses and stealth luxe 2-rows to quick-charging 3-row EVs and icons reborn on real frames. In the final segment, we'll wrap with a buyer's guide. Which one fits your life? What to buy now versus what to wait for? Price bands to target, trims to skip, and the options that actually matter. Ready for the cheat sheet that makes the decision easy?